Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, M3. How is everyone doing today? Many states are starting to open up again. Doesn't mean the governors of those socialist democratic republics aren't going to try to stop them. But we've got to do our part. Patriots from all across the globe. Ohio, Florida, Chicago, Antwerp, Oregon, Roswell, Georgia, Ireland, Spain, Virginia, Minnesota, Alabama, Indiana, Tucson, Oahu, Fort Lauderdale, Michigan, Colorado Springs, Oklahoma, New York, Scotland, Philly, West Virginia, Texas, Alaska, North Dakota, Missouri, Australia, Pennsylvania, and so much more. You guys, please everyone do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux. Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Welcome back, Patriots. Good afternoon, everyone. And Methods, welcome once again to the show.
What's going on, buddy? How are you doing? How's the chat doing? Welcome to Quarantime.
This is it. We are here, episode... Oh, Lord, I have the double again. We are back for episode 24. There's only one of me now. Got rid of that. I saw some people in the chat asking about Dylan, Education for Liberals. Methods and I just confirmed directly with Dylan that he does have a new account. It's at Education for Libs, but instead of one S, there's two S's. So it's almost like his old handle. Just add an S. You can go there and follow him and get the same great daily content that he puts out.
Yeah, I'm dropping the link directly now in the chat.
Perfect. And somebody, Recnem, something like that, I don't know. Yes, actually, Baby Love 78 is how I found it, because she tagged me right before the show, and I happened to see it. And then I went ahead and shared it myself, and I confirmed with Dylan that it is actually him. Somebody in the chat was asking about a website that they sent to my email. And Methods, I'm going to be passing it on to you so you can check it out, but it's something like questioncv.com. Obviously, it's spelled out. Can't say it here. But yeah, just want to let you know, buddy, we will be checking it out. Now, I need to say thank you to Jenny Suter. What happened to all the CEOs and their money since they have resigned? Something tells me that a lot of those CEOs probably have what's called a golden parachute, where even though they resign, they receive a huge severance package. That is something that is quite often in place for these people so that they're taken care of for the rest of their lives. And probably just like the people who come to the Congress, they end up probably having medical insurance for the rest of their lives too, because everybody needs insurance, and who deserves free insurance more than former politicians on the backs of the American taxpayer? That is welfare for the elite. I don't care for it myself. Looney Tunes says, stop saying go to my special website. Why is that pervy? I mean, that's the script that I'm given, but it is a special website because it's a link that has my name in it. So I don't know. I never, ever thought that when I was saying it, but now you've put that in my head, and I don't know how to get rid of it. BabyLove78 says, I found him on the Parler app. It will be a wonderful replacement for Twitter if it keeps going the way it is. And then Pat M says, rest in peace, Steve Cash, talking kitty cat. Steve Cash, was that your kitty cat, Pat M? If your kitty cat has passed on to the other world, I'm so sorry to hear that. There's nothing quite as distressing as losing a pet. Kathleen Cohn says, RP, did we meet years ago at the Cone Gallery on Grand Avenue? I know a G Money from the arts. Kathleen, I don't know. You can email me at redpill78@protonmail.com and maybe tell me some more specific information, not on a public platform. But I don't know. The name necessarily isn't familiar to me, but I've met a lot of people in my life. So I also wanted to say that I had a bit of an experience last night with my own pet, Chi-Chi. That's Cisco, but we call him Chi-Chi for short, and anybody who knows Spanish can go ahead and laugh at his name. But he's a Chihuahua, okay? He's got bad teeth. They tend to degrade rather quickly. He's already had a bunch of dental work, had to have some teeth pulled. I'm supposed to get his teeth cleaned every 6 months. Well, he had an appointment, and then this lockdown happened, so they had to push the appointment back, and then they had to push it back again. And now finally, because states are starting to open up and it's getting pretty obvious that we don't need to have the country closed down, and Looney Tune, I was joking, but glad I planted that seed. Thanks, brother. You've polluted my mind now. But anyways, so I went to brush Chi-Chi's teeth last night, and because I was like, I haven't brushed his teeth in a while. They were supposed to do it 2 months ago. I went and looked, and it looked to me like there was like one of the few remaining teeth he had left in the front was rotting, and it looked like he had an abscess. Well, thank the Lord, it turns out it was not a rotten tooth. He doesn't have a tooth there, but because he doesn't have teeth and he still likes to chew on things, it was some type of benign growth on his gums, and I was able to speak with the vet, and they were able to get us scheduled for next week, but they said that he's okay. He's not going to need antibiotics in the meantime, but unfortunately for this little guy, every time he gets his teeth cleaned, they have to do a blood test to make sure he's going to be able to handle the anesthesia, and then they put him under, they clean his teeth, and hopefully, everything's going to be okay, and he doesn't need to have any more teeth removed, because if he does, I'm going to have to start feeding him soup or, probably some premium gushy food is what I call it. Baby Love says, have you been watching Comet Atlas? BP Earthwatch on YouTube has been reporting on it. Will possibly hit the sun. Methods, we in our private research group, we have spoken a bit about Comet Atlas, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't the ones that brought it up. I don't think it was somebody else.
It wasn't us.
So, I mean, that's as far as the conversation went.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what was all discussed. But yeah, no, we've talked about it. We probably need to look into it more.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, Comet Atlas is like 11 times the size of Jupiter, so it's not an insignificant comet that's going to be whipping by us. It's kind of crazy to think, I mean, our galaxy is large enough that a heavenly body, 11 times the size of Jupiter, which is already a large celestial body, is going to be whipping by Earth and by the sun. If it hits the sun, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I do need to watch BP Earthwatch and check that out. But from what I've seen in the research that I've done, it does not look like it's going to. It's going to be close. And I mean, when you're talking close in terms of the galaxy, it's still a really, long way away, but I mean, it'll be relatively close. So, I guess hopes and prayers for Comet Atlas. I hope it does not hit the sun or hit the Earth. Let's see. Also, Grabzanon says, absolutely love these almost daily Quarantime updates. It makes me wonder how many people are truly watching. For a movement with millions of YouTube's viewership count has got to be wrong. Much love. Yeah, I think the viewership probably is incorrect. Methods and I have been speculating on that for a while. I'm still happy with the people that are here, and I guess regardless of how many people it tells us that are actually watching the show, I know that the people that show up and hang out with us in the chat are having a good time, and our mission has been accomplished. We've been able to break through, help people through the monotony of their days, being stuck inside. So I'm very, very pleased about that.
Well, and to that point, I mean, the numbers in the end don't really matter. Obviously it shows how big the movement's growing and all that stuff, but as long as people are hanging out and having a good time, the intent of this show is accomplished, then that's all that really matters to us. And that's why we bring up clicking like and sharing things on social media to help us break through so other people can hang out with us. But yeah, man, like we said yesterday, we get the best chat, best people hang out with us on YouTube.
Yeah, I will stand by that statement for the end of my days. We've got almost 3,200 people watching and 1,000 likes, so if you guys do feel it in your heart to like and share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform, like Method says, it really does help out. It is a big deal because the more people like it, the more people share it. The interaction on YouTube tells the platform that people should be watching this show. There's a couple of times I really was wondering if we were going to hit trending on the live page, because most channels are not getting 3,000 to 6,000 concurrent viewers like this early in the day. But of course, they're not going to let us do that. WV Soccer Tyler, West Virginia. Soccer Tyler, West Virginia was blessed by God. Our state never infringed on our rights and freedoms. Where we go one, we go all. Another state that I believe never infringed on the rights and freedoms of its residents was Ohio. I don't think, not Ohio, Iowa, another four-letter state. Iowa, I don't think ever shut down. Looney Tunes says, thoughts on Atlas being Nibiru? Well, I mean, I haven't never specifically considered that before, but I mean, it would make sense. I mean, the definition of a comet is different from the definition of a planet. So if it's a comet, then it's going to have a tail and it's going to have some type of like fire or gas coming off of it. And that's not like a literal definition, but I know that there's more to a comet than a planet. So who knows? Sue Randall says, did you see they are possibly setting up the next hoax? Oh, yes. Unidentified flying object videos have been released. Are we going to be invaded from outer space now? I don't think we're going to be invaded from outer space, but something tells me that they want people's attention someplace else. I know, Methods, you're not a big fan of this subject, but I mean, I hope that you can admit that if the government is releasing this stuff at a time like this, they're probably trying to do a misdirect.
Yeah, we've been talking about that and kind of joking about it for a month or two now. That would be the next move after a failed, fear tactic pandemic after that runs off. But yeah, I know I don't dig into it. I kind of poke fun at it, but I'm more focused on what's going on here on this really round Earth that we're on.
Yeah,
and not paying attention to the. I mean, I get it if that's your kind of thing. All for it. I don't try to dog it. But I focus more on what's happening here on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit to being, somebody who likes to talk and speculate on that stuff. But Methods is right. There is a lot happening on this planet right now. So as far as I'm concerned, that's where my attention is at this moment in time. Well, speaking of what's happening in the world right now.
Real quick. Yeah. I wanted to bring this up. I know we didn't even talk about it before the show. Somebody brought it up in the chat. I'd like to give them credit, but it's kind of flying on me. Somebody mentioned stimulus checks. Okay, we brought this up over the next few days. What we found out, I think on Sunday, a friend of mine told me, who's on disability, that they checked the IRS website and it updated and said when they were going to get their deposit, because I know a lot of people that were on disability and stuff weren't getting them. That was kind of the trend I was seeing. And then I got a lot of reports from people after the fact, after we said that they found out through our show and went and checked. So if you haven't received anything yet, if it had always said there wasn't any information to give you, go fill out your information again on the irs.gov website and see, because I was hearing dates of anywhere from today through like the 1st of May. People are now going to be getting their checks that have been waiting. So I just want everybody who's listening now to know about that. Go check if you haven't.
Awesome. Yeah, I still haven't gotten mine either, guys. I'll definitely keep you informed and continue to let us know if you get yours. Also, Filled with Hope says, Methods, I just wanted you to know I really appreciate your twits and love your snarky humor. Beautiful.
I appreciate that.
Rook Castle says, apparently CV-19 is testing positive in the pollution particles in the skies of Italy. Well, that doesn't make any sense unless somebody is releasing it into the air. That's kind of crazy. Sheila Garrett, don't fall for the Project Bluebeam. This is why we were talking about, is this going to be the next big hoax? Because it would make a lot of sense. They've pretty much run out of ammunition on everything else. President Trump took care of the problem in the Middle East. We've clearly beaten this pandemic. And then we've got one more thing that they can go ahead and use, and that is little green men coming to control us. All right. Well, speaking of little men, let's talk about Joe Biden. Back in 2006, there was some clandestine cell phone video footage that was taken of Uncle Joe. And at that time, his campaign platform was very different, very, very different from what it is now. He was speaking to a group of people, and arguably the groups that he would speak to in 2006 were quite larger than the groups he would speak to now. But, even still, it pales in comparison to the groups that President Trump has spoken to for the last 4 years, 5, 6 years. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it, because I think that it really holds in stark contrast to Uncle Joe's campaign now and the campaigns of everyone who disagree with President Trump. And it shows that it's not about the message or the actual platform, specifics. It's about just disagreeing with President Trump because Orange Man bad.
Country that is an erstwhile democracy where they have the greatest disparity in wealth. It's one of the wealthiest countries in the hemisphere. And because of a corrupt system that exists in Mexico, there is the 1% of the population at the top, a very small middle class, and the rest is abject poverty. Folks, I voted for a fence. I voted, unlike most Democrats, and some of you won't like it, I voted for 700-mile fence.
All right, that right there is the key part. He voted for a fence. He voted for a 700-mile border fence. So it was only 13 years ago that Joe Biden, or 14 years ago, Joe Biden was calling for a border fence to protect the citizens of the United States. Now, today, he and the rest of his Democratic colleagues are completely against the idea of a border fence because it goes against everything they stand for. Or does it? It looks to me like they're just against a fence because President Trump got elected, had the idea, and decided he was going to do it to protect America. If President Trump has policies that actually work to make life better for Americans, then obviously they have to stand against them.
Right. And I know at this point it's kind of expected that they would have said, the hot topic points to get the votes, or, to grandstand on certain ideas to seem like they really care about the, American people. And then now we're kind of seeing that they don't. But it's really important for the public, the public format, on social media and stuff like that, or even just showing on your phone to friends and family. Mm-hmm. Well, this is what he was saying back then. So we've already got Trump in and he's already building it. So why are you going to go vote for Biden? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's good to have the compare and contrast, because even though a lot of us who quote unquote are veterans in this, because we've been doing this for the last few years, as far as this movement is concerned, I know that we've had people for decades digging and stuff like that. And there are a lot of respect to you guys as well. But as far as, us seeing all these things before and stuff, it's still very important to put this stuff out there. So I'm glad whoever found this made it available.
The hypocrisy is extremely important to me. It's not just Joe Biden. I mean, a vast majority of the Democratic candidates at one time or another had, platforms that mirrored President Trump's, ideas and the things that he's wanted to do here in America. But only when he got into power and they realized that he was actually going to do the things that they only talked about, they knew that they had to stand against him because it was going to be successful. Let's see. Scott says, uppercut that like button, peeps. Love your show. You guys rock. Thanks, Scott. We've got 1.6 thousand likes right now and just over 4,000 people with us. Hey Jude says, according to space.com, Comet Atlas has broken up. It's now Comet Swan. Well, let's see if BP Earthwatch does an update video. Kylan Jones says, my ex got a letter from the IRS saying Oregon child support took his. Thought they weren't supposed to do that. I received mine on Sunday night. Much love and respect, Katie Jones and Charlotte Copeland. That was not supposed to happen. I saw some stories about that initially, that debtors and places like states seeking to recoup a debt, they were not supposed to be able to take your refund checks. So I would definitely look into it and try to fight it. That is really, really unfair. I mean, if somebody is already not able to keep up with their child support, probably because they're trying to, keep up with life, it's an absolutely ridiculous thing to do to somebody. So keeping in line with the thread that is Joe Biden, more people are starting to speak out about the claims against him made by Tara Reade. Now, there are two main voices in the Me Too and the Time's Up movement, and that would be Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano. Rose McGowan has basically been very outspoken against anybody who's ever had a claim against them. Believe all women. But it doesn't matter if they're innocent or they haven't been proven guilty. She's going to come out and speak out against them. So she's been speaking out pretty heavily against Joe Biden. She called him a creep. She said, "You are a creep," and demanded that he drop out. Now, not only that, but Alyssa Milano, that other big voice in this movement, she's part of Me Too, but it should also be noted that her husband is a big time agent at CAA Methods. That's the one that has the pyramid and the all-seeing eye, right?
Right. Yeah. No, their building's sketchy. Everything around CAA is sketchy. That's tied to what's his face, Jussie Smollett, is managed by them. I mean, there's a whole rabbit hole. There's been a lot of digs on them, but CAA is a mess. And Rose McGowan had called them out directly, and because they had a splitting off Alyssa and Rose McGowan. There's a great clip out there. I could send it to you.
Oh yeah,
of Rose McGowan just laying into it and saying, they're all, her calling out Alyssa Milano and her husband because he works at CA.
Yeah, and it should be noted the Time's Up movement, the split off of Me Too was designed by CAA because they wanted to have the ability to kind of overshadow Me Too. Because, clearly they had a bunch of clients that were going to be caught up in the Me Too movement. So then they went ahead and preemptively did this and called out other people so that they could divert attention away. But Alyssa Milano still participates and does #MeToo. But she had previously called the claims against Joe Biden a smear campaign. It's believe all woman until it was her favored candidate who was accused. And now Rose McGowan has, called her out again and, basically called her a hypocrite and saying that, she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. But now, after she's been called out and after the allegations are picking up steam, what with the fact that we have, contemporaneous witnesses to the events, the recollections at the time, other people who supported Joe and people who worked with his campaign, Alyssa Milano's had to come out and kind of retract her statement. She put out this tweet and she said, "I'm aware of the new developments in Tara Reade's accusation against Joe. I want Tara, like every other survivor, to have the space to be heard and seen without being used as fodder. I see and hear you, Tara. #MeToo." Looks like Scott Pressler responded and said, in 1993, Tara Reid's mother called Larry King to blow the whistle on Joe assaulting her daughter. Now, 4 sources have corroborated Tara Reid's story. Her brother, a friend, a former neighbor, and a former colleague. Very interesting. Do you guys want to listen to this Larry King clip where Tara Reid's mother calls in? I think that would be something very appropriate to hear. It's only a minute long.
A couple more phone calls on this very important topic. Our guests are former United States Senator Howard Baker, Richard Allen, former National Security Advisor, and Lois Romano of the Washington Post. San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Now, but these are the people who do come to the Lois Romano.
All right, so I know that is very quiet, guys, so I'm just going to recount what she said. She said that her daughter had been working for a senator and something happened. She wanted to talk about it, but then she decided not to out of respect for the candidate. Unfortunately, the volume was up as high as I could turn it. So what I'll do is I will drop a link to the tweet, and you guys can go ahead and listen to it after the show. Go ahead and turn it up. And there you go. So I'm going to drop this in here. Yep. Yeah, sorry, guys.
And while you're dropping that, like to the point, you notice how, and people were talking about it here in this chat, that everybody on Twitter was holding, Alyssa Milano's feet to the fire and had been ever since Tara came out, right? Because we knew that Alyssa was defending Biden through any allegations. And when we call him out for, the sniffing and the touching and everything that he's done, like she's just stayed quiet and has been defending him. Well, that public pressure, it's not bullying, it's not harassment. That public pressure on her when she has injected herself into these situations, to me, that tweet was a victory in itself because she had to bite her tongue and be like, all right, yeah, okay, fine. I'm not saying she's now on our side. No, I mean, I despise the woman, but the fact that we can have that kind of,
effect.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word. Like the fact that we're able to do that shows that there's that much power in the people's hands where it should be, because we should be able to call. I don't care if stars, I don't care how much they make. I don't care what movies they've been in or influence or whatever. We should all have the same equal voice. And if somebody's using theirs for the wrong reason, and using their power for the wrong reason, then we've got to be able to call it out and things be changed.
Yeah. Now, somebody in the chat had said that we should check out Robert David Steele's newest video about indictments. And then somebody else said it's getting hard to discern the clickbait. You're right. It is getting hard. And when you have channels that you trust coming out and saying that, something like that is true, I want to say there has been some still images and images in a video that have come out recently claiming to show indictments against Fauci and other people. The documentation that's being shown, guys, is not an actual indictment. I don't know where that information is coming from, but somebody made that in Microsoft Word on their computer. If there are indictments for Fauci and other people, the information that's being presented is not them. Okay. And I'm not calling out any channels. I'm not saying that they knew, but I'm saying that the information that's being presented is not accurate, and it's being presented as if it is proof positive. If those indictments were real and they had been released, then Dr. Fauci and other people would already be arrested. So this is one of those opportunities you guys have to discern and, maybe hold somebody's feet to the fire. If they're going to be saying that this information is legit, then why don't they show some sauce? What is the provenance of the documents? Where did they come from? How did they get this information? There's too many people out there saying, an anonymous source told me. That's no better than the Washington Post or the New York Times.
And to that point also, it's like, I understand that we're all wanting these things to happen. So it does make us, susceptible to like clickbait and whatnot. But, do you really need to know about it first? when it's not that verified. When you have things come out, this is at least how I look at it, because when it's things like documents, like the IG report and stuff like that, or an arrest happens, Epstein, for example, that kind of stuff landed in our laps to where we couldn't deny it, and it gets covered by the people, in real time, saying this did happen. The Solomons, the Sarah Carters, it's on the Fox News chyrons. If you want to go down that route, it becomes trending hashtags on Twitter. Those kind of things, like indictments, are not going to be able to be covered up, because we're talking about indictments of people that we want so badly, that are involved in names that have been a part of this narrative ever since this all got started. So that, to me, when you hear about all those things, I take it with a grain of salt. But then when I hear it first, I give it a few more days. It goes from, oh, that's interesting, I'll share this, to, oh, this is now a fact. Oh my! And then you're tagging everybody with this stuff. And it becomes in this cycle of, well, I'm hearing it enough, it must be true. And then all it's got to take is somebody throw a date on it, and then that date passes, and then now we get attacked by shills, and we all, everybody gets let down, and it's a cycle that created itself. Yeah. And that's what worries me more so than, hearing about things first.
Now, and like I said, I'm not calling out Robert David Steele. What he's reporting on is an anonymous source giving information which is, apparently being leaked. He's not the first person to report on this. I saw other channels reporting on this, and all I'm saying is just know that this is not verified information. I would be pleased as punch if it turns out that Loretta Lynch was indicted on 3 counts of conspiracy to overthrow the government. The thing about it is, that's a likely thing. I mean, she could actually be indicted for that. Sally Yates could also be indicted on those 3 counts. John Brennan could also. But we don't have the verification of it. This is one of those things that, we were talking about the other day. If we're going to be putting something out that is not verifiable, and we can't say that there is evidence to support it, then we have to, frame it as it is. What's concerned me is seeing too many people saying that, this is what's going to happen. Because if this doesn't happen, then you're going to have a lot of really angry and upset people. So Methods and I have your best interest at heart, and that's why we refrain from, putting stuff out like this, because, it's you can't verify it.
Yeah, we don't have to be first, in our eyes on that stuff. It's not like, if the news breaks, Red Pill's going to stop dropping his videos at 6 and drop it in the afternoon just to be first to get it out there. We want it to be right. That's why we don't talk about some of the things that get spread around, because we want to see it verified. We don't have a problem waiting and all that stuff. But we've got over 4,500 people hanging out with us, 1.9 thousand likes. We appreciate it. And I also appreciate everybody who's shown up in my PayPal. And thank you to the mods for sharing links, and everybody here. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Yes. And, and I just want to stress again, we're not calling anybody out. This is not an expose on some other channel. Other people are more than, okay to create content and to put information out. Perhaps they were told that it was verified information, but I saw it like a week ago. I saw this already. It's like one of those things, like if we pull something off the chance and report on it, say, hey, this is a cool theory, I'm going to show the actual post, because I want people to know like where it came from. Like, hey, this is something that could happen. It could be cool, or it totally could not. But that's the important part, is framing it correctly, and not an indictment of any other channels at all. Lenore Morris says, have you seen the mag George? It has some really interesting info on it. Just saw it today on Killing the Cabal. The George magazine, I don't know if they're producing new issues, but I saw them when I was younger, when JFK Jr. was running the magazine, and there was a lot of interesting things in there. He was well ahead of his time. Dogs at Play says it's an economic impact payment. Only MSM calls it a stimulus check. Don't be like the MSM. All right. All right. I'll call it an economic impact payment. That's not a problem. Bella Rideau says, got my unemployment paying me $900 a week, base plus $600 Trump promised every week. Haven't gotten the economic impact payment yet. I had to file first. Now the processing is slow. We have a whole solar system coming into ours. Yeah. My daughter is in the same boat. She was just approved for the additional unemployment money because they wouldn't give it to her previously. So now she's had to recertify. She's going through the same thing. So yeah, I understand. Daddy Crab says they turn the other cheek on Biden and will vote for him. This is the state of the Dems, really? They have nothing left, you know? I mean, who are they going to vote for? Many of those people are never going to vote for President Trump. They just can't bring themselves to do it because of the cognitive dissonance. They can't imagine that President Trump is doing good things for this country, or that by voting for him, they might be helping the country themselves. Cindy Casto says, George Webb, YouTube, and Twitter closed, being attacked, getting too close to the truth. I know that he had done a story about the origins of CV-19 that was recently covered by CNN, and I don't know anything about the veracity of his stories, and I don't know if he actually closed them himself or if they were deleted, but that is interesting. BabyLove78 says, hey, Methods, I don't have PayPal. Is there another way to donate?
I only had set up the PayPal before because people had been asking about it, and when I had certain situations happen and people wanted to help, with my girl's car accident and whatnot. So no, I don't, baby love. If anything, just donate to the channel. I like seeing this channel, have its lights kept on because then we keep doing what we're doing. I appreciate the sentiment, but if anything, just donate to this channel. It really helps out Red Pill, and I like to see that happen.
Well, thanks.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, buddy. Somebody had asked me to open up a Venmo yesterday. I went to go do it, and I just remembered why I never did it before, because you have to use your full legal name. So if anybody donates to you through Venmo, then, you're basically doxing yourself. So that's why I didn't do it. So just so if anybody ever asks again. Rob blah blah. Do you guys think there is a relationship between the underscore JPEG files in recent posts and the 54321 JPEG? Methods? We had considered the possibility of a countdown previously.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if Ardoc's in here. I know Ardoc and Tron have been tracking that a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to, pawn off that question on somebody else. They were the ones digging into it. I find it interesting that it's being used in there. I've seen enough, but I don't have enough on deck for me to share. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely reach out to Ardoc, reach out to Tron. They'll know what you're talking about because they are digging on that recently.
Let's see. Thanks again, Rob blah blah. Brutus DM says, are we unrealistically expecting justice for these traitors? I don't think it's unrealistic at all. What they participated in was treason and sedition. These people must pay for their crimes. If they don't, then the integrity of the entire system is in question. I already lost faith in the system that is our American Republic, and President Trump has restored that for me. President Trump will lose a significant portion of his base if these people are not brought to justice. Methods, do you think it's a pipe dream to think these people are going to get the justice they deserve?
Well, I see where they're coming from because this gets asked a lot of us, right? A lot of people feel this way about it. And then we also have a lot of people who think how me and you do. I don't think it's a pipe dream when it's such a big thing, but I don't want to keep saying all the one-liners out there to tell people that's, the reasoning to just hold on and quote unquote trust the plan. Mm-hmm. Personally, just for me, I'm watching the writing on the wall, and the tea leaves are saying, okay, if Durham's expanding his operation, mm-hmm. he's bringing in new people to help. We're finding out who he's questioning, what's going around. If you watch the hearings from the past, that's why I've been going back and digging on that stuff to have refreshers, because it's going to need to be explained. If you listen to what they were saying before, and then what came out with the IG report, what's been coming out in reports with Solomon, when Nunes is talking about what Gowdy's been referring to. Mm-hmm. You go down all those paths and you pay attention. If it comes back with the infamous nothing burger, then yeah, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah,
we know that, but I don't see that happening. And anytime I do have doubts, I also pray about this stuff. I have faith in this, in the fact that we can have this justice happen. And that's just how I feel. And that's how I get to live with peace of mind. And I just hope that for everybody else, but I understand when it's difficult. I mean, it's not fun. But no, I'm not wavered about this. There is a point that I would be, but that's not now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm on the same page. I mean, Methods and I have a very similar sensibility about all this. So that's, why we're doing the show together. Also, Exit the Matrix says, if you or M3 get censored during the run-up to November, is there a backup platform or channel to follow you guys? Great work. I have 2 backup channels, and all I need is for people to subscribe to them. They're in the description of this video. I've got something like 10,000 subscribers on it, so nowhere near the number of subs that I have here on the main channel. But if something happens, I will go there. I know Methods actually has a YouTube channel, but I mean, it's just so that he can log in. I don't know if he has any plans to someday start publishing, but that would be something that would be awesome. I would watch.
Well, yeah, I mean, to that point, people keep asking us that. I mean, I've got the backup Twitter that's on my bio, the M3 Madness. I got really creative with that one. We have that. We've got obviously this channel. We've got a lot of friends as well. And I know that I can always lean on my YouTube channel. But Red Pill and I are also having a lot of discussions about, future plans on how we want to go about things. This show that we've been doing for, to hang out with everybody during these difficult times, this has been very eye-opening on what we can do if people can wrap their heads around what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, if that were to happen, let's say worst case scenario, all our stuff gets taken down, I'd go live on my channel. I have no problem doing that. It's just right now I like doing this and I like planning for the future. But no, we are discussing a lot of different options for the later on this year.
Most definitely. Let's see. Meadow Dancer Wow upgraded their membership. Thank you for that. Marianne Rodriguez also upgraded her membership, and Trisha K has become a new member. Thank you. Let's see. Baby Love 78. Grr, YouTube won't let me upgrade my membership. Do I have to be a member for 30 days first? It's frustrating. I've been trying for a week. I actually don't know what the process is to upgrade your membership. Maybe if you click the, if you go on your computer to the join link and then just click whatever membership level you want, see if that works. White Hat Granny says, anyone walking away from our favorite Anon was probably not a true believer anyways. Watch Flynn's Freedom soon. Saw him this week surfing again. Big smile on his face. I absolutely agree. Some people, are just looking for whatever the hot ticket item is. This definitely is a movement for the long haul. This is for people who do have some solid faith and who can look at the totality of the situation. See it from start to finish. You have to be able to think outside the box. You can't simply think about what is directly in front of your face, because if all you're looking at is this moment in time, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the moves for the future, then you're not going to see it. And, maybe it was time for you to go on and move to something else, but I know you guys are not there.
Yeah, and everybody, there's real life is out there too. And I know I'm talking about as far as internet work and what we do, and then what you have going on, around your house, around your work and all that. But also, Digital Browser asked the question, what about election night coverage? Haven't we discussed that, Red Pill, about doing election night?
Yeah, we have talked about that. I think that's a big yes. We should definitely do that.
Yeah, we'll probably talk to a few of our friends, and we might do an election night thing. That sounds like a fun idea.
For sure. Somebody, Bees Collectibles asked, do I need to be a member to highlight my text? I saw you highlight my name because you did the @ but what Hey Jude just did and what the other people with the blocks around their text have done is a super chat. So no, you don't have to be a member to do a super chat. But Hey Jude said, great convo about the plan on SGT report with Praying Medic. I have heard quite a bit about that interview recently. And Stephanie Sprague says, even if no one gets arrested, I would never turn my back on Trump. I don't feel like we even have to speculate about no one getting arrested, because if they don't make them pay, then these people are going to do it all over again the first chance they get. And President Trump, people in his administration that he trusts, they truly want to restore America, and they want to make it a place where people don't have to worry about, the types of corruption that we've had in the past. it's so vitally important to restore our country to perhaps, even more greatness than it was in the last 100 years. We're going to have to go back a long time to the foundationals of our system here. And it's going to need to be a vast sea change. It's going to have to be completely different than what it's been in the last decades or, 100 years or more. Thank you to all of you for those. Appreciate it. I need to say some more stories that we wanted to talk about. This is a big win, you guys. In the state of Michigan, Governor Whitmer has apparently lost her fight to keep the state closed for another 70 days. So now the state Senate has voted to end the lockdown on April 30th, which is a huge win. And this is not the only state where this is happening. Also, in the state of Illinois, somebody had commented about this yesterday. There was a judge who ruled that Illinois' governor has exceeded his authority and violated the civil rights with his CV-19 stay-at-home order. It exceeded the emergency authority that the governor was given under this, disaster, essentially. And so now they're going to roll back some of the restrictions that he had put in. The judge that was commenting on it, Clay County Circuit Judge Michael McHaney, ruled against Governor Pritzker's executive order granting a restraining order to temporarily block the stay-at-home order set to take place on May 1st. Current order remains in place, and the governor is now to appeal. But it is not only these two states, but Attorney General Bill Barr is weighing in. And he wrote a letter to the attorney generals, or is it the attorney generals of the states, Methods?
I don't know who he wrote it to specifically. I don't have it in front of me, but he did put everybody kind of on notice, just in general, saying that if they are abusing people's rights. Do you have the tweet pulled up?
Yeah. I forgot to show it. Sorry. It's to all United States attorneys.
Okay, yeah. Basically, what he was calling for them to do was, if anybody's rights are still being violated during this, your constitutional rights, the state's attorney generals are he's calling on them to still protect the rights of the people. So for anybody that's wavering on Barr, put this in the check column of a win as far as being positive about him, because he is looking out for everybody, specifically in your rights.
Yeah.
He wants to see, we're talking about all 50 states. A lot of stuff's going on. Yeah, we see the videos of, police doing these things to people. The playground with the lady and her child was horrific. All that different stuff. But he's saying now that they want to do this. And so I'm definitely excited that Barr is making a big deal out of this.
Yeah, Barr has been really hands-on. Not perhaps openly in everything that people were, hoping that he would be involved with. But he's measured his response, and he's gotten involved when it was, absolutely necessary. I'm really hoping we're going to next see him intervene in Roger Stone's situation, because I believe he has to report to prison on Thursday, and there are major problems with the jury pool and also the judge in his case. But he said in the letter, many policies that would be unthinkable in regular times have become commonplace in recent weeks, and we do not want to unduly interfere in the important efforts of state and local officials to protect the public. But the Constitution is not suspended in times of crisis. We must therefore be vigilant to ensure its protections are preserved at the same time that the public is protected. So I think that this is a great message to anybody out there who is thinking, how could we just throw our rights out the door and allow, our Constitution to be trampled? Attorney General Barr is paying attention, okay? We are paying attention. They're not going to be able to do this again, guys. They're not going to be able to scare us into just giving our rights, handing them over, and allowing ourselves to be trampled under the boot of tyranny. So I think that this is an excellent move on behalf of Bill Barr, and I really feel like anybody who was nervous in the last couple of weeks should feel a lot better about it. We're going to be setting some precedents here with these judicial rulings and these decisions, and now the state's attorneys of each state are going to be looking at the actions of these governors, and I think they probably have a pretty good idea of which governors they need to specifically scour their decisions.
I totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
while you're doing that, I'm going to drop a link. I like breaking news to you on air because that's fun. So I'm going to send that to you real quick in our DM. But go ahead and do your super chats.
All right. So the Mikado 16, how long will Trump let these governors run amok? Oh, perfect. Not much longer. Bill Barr just made that decision. Or is he leaving it up to us to fix them? Geezerman says, thanks RP and Methods for keeping us informed. Did you see the vid of the nurses exposing the deaths of CV patients in New York? Doctors refusing to give the HCQ, forced onto ventilators, left to die. I did see that video. Pretty shocking. And again, this is one of those things where, I mean, I'm not there. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. I know that in certain states, they are not giving out the HCQ when clearly it could be a life-saving treatment. But just to go back to the Mikado 16, now that Attorney General Barr has put this order out to all of the state's attorneys, if you see your rights being trampled, then I think that you have the ability to reach out directly to the state's attorneys in your local area, in your state, and you can report this stuff. You can say, hey, look, this is a violation of my rights. Why don't you do something about it? And I think that they probably will, now that they've gotten this directive from Bill Barr. Thanks again, Geezerman. Country Girl at Heart says, love this show. Laura Z from Saturday Night Calling. Hey, Laura, good to see you. Thanks for being here. EO2 Dave says they hid the virus. They gathered up all the PPE. They let it spread around the world. They threatened to cut off our medicine, and now they are closing food processing plants. Nothing fishy here. Yeah, I saw a pretty disturbing video that Real Red Pill Girlfriend sent me this morning, a rancher talking about the breakdown in the food chain. Rather than processing American beef and other types of meats, they are looking to euthanize these animals. Okay, now there's a couple different reasons why. I mean, if the food chain has stopped, then these people are not going to be able to take care of all of these additional animals, and they're going to have to do something with them. But I think it's insane. I think it's insane to euthanize cattle or euthanize pigs or chickens or whatever. Let's get the country open again. Let's start processing this stuff. We make so much food each year. They're throwing out milk, too, which is absolutely ridiculous. So much food produced in the United States. And instead of using it, instead of feeding Americans, they're just going to throw it away and then import beef from other countries where it's not as strictly regulated and the quality is not as good. That's definitely something that I think needs to be addressed here at this time. Methods, did you see any of that stuff going around this morning?
Yeah, I've saw some discussions about it. I didn't get a chance to get into it. I was watching, the Wayback Machine on YouTube. But no, I agree. I mean, we got to take care of ourselves first. We got to take care of our citizens first, people that are legally supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And that actually the link that I sent you segues into this kind of,
Okay.
because you know how they had to do another bill, and I refer to the STEM bill just because that's what everybody says. And I always feel bad when people want to say we need to say things differently. And no offense to the person that said it. I talk how I talk. I refer to things how I think of it in my head, and I don't want to worry about dancing around words too much. So, but anyways, as far as the loan program is concerned, that's going on, a lot of like the major corporations jumped on the small business loan things, not necessarily major, but they were jumping at this opportunity to get the free money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They even called out the Lakers that are now giving back $4.5 million. Why did the Los Angeles Lakers need it?
What?
Well, so Mnuchin announced, and this is from Solomon, I'll drop his tweet here in the chat, and anybody that took over a $2 million or more loan is going to get audited regardless, just to make sure everything's on the up and up.
That's great.
So all those ones that ran after it, because that's where the money ran out, because the smaller banks couldn't handle it, your local banks couldn't handle it. They were trying to process all these things, but meanwhile, the people that already were in good standings, I guess, with their banks were able to get these loans quicker, and it drained the money fast.
Not only that, but the larger the loan, the larger the commission that the bank was going to get.
Right.
So they went and processed all of those to make sure that, hey, I'm going to get a big check on this one. So rather than processing a loan for $50,000 to a small business, they went ahead and used, millions of dollars in loans to large companies, and it sucked the system dry. So excellent move on behalf of Steve Mnuchin.
Imagine how we get to now legally audit so many different corporations,
Yeah.
and they say they're going to do every single one at 2 million or more.
Wow.
What else can they accidentally find? And then, seize or whatever the case. And so that, to me, I'm not saying it's all been a part of the plan from all this stuff, but the fact that they're able to do this and it makes complete sense for them to do, then I'm all for it. This can help weed out some corruption.
I absolutely agree. I think this is a wonderful use of the resources of the Internal Revenue Service. Let's see. So EO2 Dave, thanks again for that. Stacy M says, check your email on a Alyssa Milano dig. Okay, I will. Thank you. Michelle Georgeson says, can we say the Pledge of Allegiance before each show or at the end? I mean, I don't know that I want to commit to it every time because it's a good possibility I might forget, but we can say it at the end of this show for sure. Stomp and Smell the Roses. Do you agree with Praying Medic that it's about changing the system more than the arrest? He thinks if not changed, the next persons will do the same thing. I mean, I agree that if the system isn't changed, then it's going to happen again. But I also think if these people are not arrested and held accountable for what they've done, it's also going to happen again because they're going to, they are pathological narcissists. They're psychopaths. They're going to do everything they can to get back into power and put themselves in a situation where they can repeat, this entire issue. Stomp and Smell the Roses, thank you. West Virginia Soccer Tyler, so is Elon Musk good or bad? The Starlink satellites make me wonder, are they control or maybe Project Bluebeam? Man, I don't know if Elon Musk is good or bad, but something tells me that he is part of the, control grid that they've put in place. The things that Elon is asking for, this neural link to merge us with machine and AI. There's nothing good about that, but I mean, I don't have any evidence to say that Elon Musk is specifically, a black hat. I just kind of feel that he is. Methods, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't trust anybody from the old system in general. Now, I mean, if they understand the writing on the wall and they're trying to come correct, then I'm all for it. But no, I don't necessarily hold him in like my mind as a good guy. I don't, but I haven't necessarily pinned him through research on him being completely evil. I don't know, but and Son of a Green Card, thank you for letting me know. I'll drop this in the chat. I know we're getting close to the end of the show. Technofog dropped the tweet. It has to do with the Flynn stuff about them finding more documents. I know you want to talk about that, but Technofog being the genius that he is, he makes sure he covers and gives you the actual sauce about it being filed.
Sweet.
And all that. So I'll drop that tweet here in the chat real quick.
Perfect. Then the Lizard P says, justice happens on God's timing, not ours. Yeah, that's a favorite thing we say on this channel. Trump has my vote. He's already done so much for us. God bless Methods and Red Pill 78. Thank you for that, Lizard. Steve Hausman says, you guys are doing great. Thank you. If you get a chance to listen to The Voice of Q from 1982 on YouTube. Heard this from Tron on another channel. I will look it up. D. Sam says, please look into the teeth or colloidal silver for your poor baby's teeth. Love listening to you both. Thanks for being here for us. I will definitely look into that. I've got a colloidal silver maker. The Mikado 16 says, thanks. We are doing all we can in Pennsylvania. Governor Wolf actually has all kinds of garbage in the green phase where we open up like $15 minimum wage. It's not going to be good. Linda Finley says, why not give the food to the poor who can't afford to buy much? That was my thought exactly. Give it to food banks. Give it to homeless people. Take it to the VA. Gaffer Anon says, late to the bunker, starting back at the beginning. All right, Gaffer, when you get here, hello, and thank you for joining us. All right, let's go ahead and take a look.
Real quick, I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat. I just personally haven't dug a whole lot into Elon Musk. I didn't even know, or I might have forgot about him being with, the cooking of spirit person that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention, or I might have forgot about that. But like I said, it just hasn't been a focus of mine recently, and all this research and stuff, things get lost, in my mind. So I'm not endorsing him by any means.
Yeah, definitely not endorsing Elon Musk. All right, so I think we should end with some great news about General Flynn. Yesterday, I did my entire video on the upcoming exoneration of General Flynn. Please give that video a watch if you haven't already. But the exculpatory evidence was found within the DOJ in the notes of U.S. Attorney James Baker. It was handed over by the special prosecutor to Flynn's legal defense team and to the judge, Emmett Sullivan, in the case. General Flynn, as a result of that, information, filed a motion to withdraw his guilty plea because it proves his innocence. And on top of that, his last legal defense team, Covington and Burlingame, what is it, Covington and Burlington? Something like that, who are associated.
It's Burling.
Burling, okay, Covington and Burling, associated with former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. They just happened to find 17,000 new documents, and Methods, that link never came through.
Are we talking about the Sarah Carter link? I will drop it here, and I'm dropping it in the YouTube chat so people have it, and I'm dropping it over here on our DM now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, how convenient, right? That they find all these things now. It's going to be released. I think this is what Sidney Powell was talking about when she said that she was told that more documents were coming, and they were working on the necessary redactions and stuff like that, necessary for it to be public. But all that stuff's being put in the hands of the person that is already filing to have this dismissed. But this is going to make this evidence public, or a lot of it. Which is very exciting. So to me, we need to know all this stuff for sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Son of a green card. Oh, my husky got kicked in the mouth a while back, and we had to pull most of her teeth. She does fine as long as we add some water to her normal dog food. Man, I'm glad she's okay, buddy. I'm so sorry to hear that. And then Cindy Castro says, my CPA with Treasury, my son, maybe CPA with Treasury, is working on the stimulus team, currently setting up audit system for Special Inspector General. All aspects of the stimulus will be audited. That is incredible news. This could have been yet another trap set by the Trump administration. Methods, I am looking forward to seeing how this money was spent in detail.
Right, yeah, we get to see where it goes, follow the paper trail, and whatever you happen to see along the way, if it happens to be illegal, well, they were just doing their job. So if anything, it's, circumstance working itself out. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely exciting. But with that said, we're at the end of the show, huh?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Another great one, guys. Methods, thanks again, buddy. Thank you to all of the mods. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thanks for keeping the chat comfy. Just over 4,700 people here and 2,500 likes. If you have not yet, please consider smashing that like button on the way out the door. And then check out my video from yesterday. And then I will see you tonight at 6 p.m. Good luck and God bless, everyone.
Yeah, much love.